There is a bitter truth about life that almost no one wants to tell you, until it's too late to turn back. It is a lesson you can only truly understand after stumbling, experiencing betrayal from those you once trusted wholeheartedly, and witnessing someone destroy your honor and self-respect just to satisfy their interests. And here's what you need to remember. The more you grow, the more freedom you have to explore. The more you realize that some doors should never be opened. Not because you are fearful or weak, but because some paths lead to irreversible destruction. The past is not always a peaceful place to return to. Sometimes it has sharp claws, ready to tear apart everything you have worked hard to build over the years. People are inherently flawed, and if you take a wrong step into a toxic environment, all the values, self-respect, and even the future you have tirelessly built can collapse in an instant. That's why today, I want to share with you 4 types of people you should never reconnect with, whether out of nostalgia, curiosity, or any other reason. If you cherish inner peace, want to protect your dignity, and safeguard what you have achieved, it's best to stay away from them before it's too late. 1. Those who are jealous of your success. The people who envy your success can be anyone: a former close friend, a colleague who has worked with you for years, or even a family member. They were once by your side, sharing moments of joy and sorrow. But as you grow and receive things that were once only dreams, their attitude star shifts. They are no longer happy for you. Your success unsettles them, making them feel you are taking something away from them. Instead of genuinely congratulating you, they offer advice disguised as concern, but laced with doubt. They tell you to think carefully before deciding that you may be pushing too far. They praise you with a subtle hint of sarcasm, as if they don't truly believe you deserve what you have achieved. They remind you of your past mistakes, not to help you learn from them, but to ensure you remember that you have failed before and could fail again. If you are not mindful, their words can slowly creep into your thoughts, making you doubt yourself. You start wondering whether your success results from your hard work or just sheer luck. You question if you are being too ambitious or sacrificing something important just to get ahead. You begin to consider stopping, not because you want to, but to avoid making others uncomfortable, to preserve relationships that are no longer the same. But that is exactly what they want. They don't want you to keep moving forward, because that would mean they are left behind. They want you to return to your old position, where they feel more comfortable around you. They cannot bear the thought of you becoming better, more successful, or happier, because it makes them feel inferior. They won't say it out loud, but deep down, they are waiting for the day you stumble, so they can sigh in relief, knowing you are not much better off. People like that will never help you grow. They will only drag you down, making you feel guilty for daring to succeed. But you don't need their approval. Your success does not need their validation. You don't have to diminish yourself to ease someone else's insecurity. The people who truly care about you will celebrate your progress, cheer you on, and support you. Learn to recognize who is genuinely happy for you and who is merely masking their envy behind seemingly caring words. Keep your distance from those who cannot be happy for your success, because they were never truly rooting for your happiness in the first place. 2. Those who refuse to acknowledge your growth. No matter how much you grow, there are people who will always see you through the lens of your past. They either cannot or do not want to recognize your transformation because, in their eyes, you are still the same person you were yesterday, immature, uncertain, and full of mistakes. You have worked hard to build confidence, but when you stand before them, all they remember are the times you failed. You have achieved accomplishments worth celebrating, but they dismiss them with a smirk, calling it luck. You have changed, become wiser, and become stronger. But they insist on pulling you back to the version of you they once knew, as if you have no right to become better. These people may not necessarily have bad intentions. They are not always trying to hurt you. Their stagnant perception of who you are is dangerous. They either cannot accept that you have surpassed them or simply dislike seeing change. Your growth makes them uncomfortable, as if you are drifting away from what they once found familiar. They remind you of your past mistakes, not to help you learn, but to keep you in a place that feels safe for them. They fail to see that every person has the right to grow, make mistakes, learn, and move forward. When you are around these people, you will gradually feel as if you are trapped in an outdated version of yourself. They do not acknowledge what you have achieved. Instead, they constantly remind you of what you once did wrong. They do not encourage you to move forward. They only try to hold you back in the past. If you're not careful, you might start doubting yourself, wondering if you have truly changed or are merely fooling yourself into believing in your growth. And that is the most dangerous thing, allowing someone else's perception to define your worth. You do not need to waste your time or energy trying to prove to anyone that you have grown. Your transformation does not require their approval, and your value is not dependent on whether they acknowledge it. If someone insists on seeing you only through the lens of your past, if they cannot or will not recognize the person you have become, that is not your fault. Do not try to pull them into your present when their mind is still stuck in old memories. Some people will always want to keep you within the familiar framework they are comfortable with, an outdated, weaker, more vulnerable version of yourself that they can understand and control. They are not ready to accept that you have changed or become stronger, wiser, and broken free from past limitations. Your growth unsettles them, perhaps even frustrates them, because it disrupts the fixed image they have created of you. They want you to remain in a role they recognize within a safe space they can comprehend and manage. But you are not living to please others, nor do you need to turn back just to prove how far you have come. You do not need validation from those unwilling to see you for who you are now, those who only try to keep you tethered to the past. If they cannot accept the new you, let them stay in their memories while you continue your journey. The past may teach you valuable lessons, but it is not a place to remain stuck. Whether beautiful or painful, memories are meant to be carried as lessons, not chains that hold you back. You do not need to sift through the broken pieces of yesterday just to seek recognition from those who never truly believed in your potential. The world ahead is vast and full of opportunities, with new people and new journeys waiting for you, people who will appreciate you for who you are now, who will not try to force you back into the past, but instead will walk alongside you toward the future. Let the past remain where it belongs, not because you are running from it, but because you have outgrown it. Move forward confidently and trust yourself, because the path ahead will always be open to those who dare to keep going without looking back. 3. Those who are trapped in negativity and misery. Some people seem unhappy, living in a world of resentment, suffering, and despair. They constantly complain about life, fate, and the injustices they believe they must endure. In their eyes, the world is always cruel. People are inherently selfish, and they are perpetual victims of everything around them. They do not seek ways to change or improve their situation because deep down they have grown accustomed to their suffering, perhaps even finding a strange sense of comfort in it. When you step into their world, you immediately sense an atmosphere of gloom and heaviness. You might bring optimism, dreams, and plans for the future, but after a short conversation, you begin to feel drained, as if all the positivity within you is slowly being siphoned away. Their endless pessimism suffocates your enthusiasm, constant complaints, and insistence that life has nothing good to offer. They do not celebrate your success. If anything, they envy it. Negativity is not just a fleeting emotion. It spreads like a silent but dangerous virus. It gradually seeps into your thoughts, infiltrates your soul, and erodes your spirit in ways you may not even notice, until it's too late. If you are exposed to negativity for too long, you will start to adapt to it. One day, without realizing it, you may become just as pessimistic, doubtful, and drained of motivation and self-belief. You cannot change people trapped in negativity because they are not truly seeking a way out. They do not want to see the good in life, nor do they want to believe that things can improve if they shift their perspective. They are too accustomed to blaming the world and too comfortable in their suffering. You may listen to and comfort them, but if they are unwilling to break free from their cycle, all your efforts will be in vain. However, you can protect yourself. You can keep your distance and refuse to let their negativity seep into your mind and life. Do not fall into the trap of believing you can save them if they do not want to be saved. Do not let your compassion trap you in their world of pessimism and despair. You cannot soar if you remain stuck in a storm of mud. You cannot move forward if endless complaints, gloomy stories, and cynical predictions constantly weigh you down. If you realize that an environment or a relationship no longer brings you joy, but instead drains your energy and makes you question your worth, take it as a clear sign that it's time to walk away. Life is too short to be stuck in places that no longer serve you, surrounded by people who only diminish your spirit. No matter how much you try to fit in, there are places where you will always feel out of place. There are people who, despite your genuine sincerity, will never truly see your worth. They may make you doubt yourself, leading you to believe you are not enough and need to change to meet their expectations. But the truth is, you do not have to stay in places that hurt you. You do not have to hold on to relationships that no longer bring you peace. Do not wait until your soul becomes barren, until the negativity around you seeps in and turns you into a part of it. Do not trap yourself in spaces that slowly erode your confidence and make you lose faith in yourself. You deserve more than that. An environment that nurtures your growth, people who appreciate you, and a future filled with light and opportunity. Walk away before it's too late. Leave behind the places that no longer serve you, not because you are afraid or weak, but because you are strong enough to understand that some doors must close for better ones to open. Protect the optimism within you. Hold on to your self-worth, and do not hesitate to move forward to the place where you truly belong. 4. The betrayer, a wound that never fully heals. Betrayal is one of the deepest wounds a person can experience. It is not just about losing trust. It is the bitter realization that someone who was once close to you, someone with whom you shared dreams, fears, and moments of vulnerability, could turn their back on you so cruelly. Betrayal is not an accidental mistake or a momentary lapse in judgment. It is always a deliberate choice. When someone betrays you, they have thought it through. They have weighed the benefits and consequences and compared what they stand to gain against the value of your relationship. They knew their actions would hurt you, that your trust would be shattered, but they still chose to betray you. Why? Because in their eyes, what they stood to gain, fame, money, power, or even a small advantage, was worth more than the bond and loyalty you had given them. The sad truth is that as people grow older, they often feel the urge to revisit the past, to reconnect with old relationships, even with those who once hurt them. They believe that time heals all wounds, that past mistakes can be forgiven, and that people can change over the years. But this is one of the most dangerous misconceptions. Time does not change a person's nature. It only makes it more apparent. Someone who once betrayed you, someone who disregarded your relationship for their benefit, will, sooner or later, be willing to do it again if given the opportunity. If they once chose to turn their back on you when they wanted something more than your friendship or trust, they can make that same choice again, whenever the circumstances are favorable. You may think you are strong enough to face them and just want to see if they have truly changed. But stepping back into the life of a betrayer is like tearing down the walls of protection you have carefully built. It is not just an act of forgiveness. It is a silent acknowledgement that their actions had no real consequences, that you are willing to give them another chance to repeat what they did. Betrayers rarely feel genuine remorse. They do not regret what they lost. They only regret not gaining more from their betrayal. And when you open the door again, they will not hesitate to walk through it. Forgiveness is a virtue, but misplacing your trust once more will only make you a victim again. If someone was once willing to push you into the depths, do not be naive enough to believe they won't do it again. Sometimes, the best way to protect yourself is not through revenge or seeking reconciliation, but by learning to close the door, once and for all. As you grow, be mindful of the doors you choose to open. Not every part of the past is worth returning to, and not every relationship deserves reconnected. Some places and people may seem harmless, but they are the source of the wounds you once struggled to overcome. There are doors that, once opened, will only pull you back into the pain and disappointment you worked so hard to leave behind. Time may soften memories, allowing you to look back on the past with gentler eyes, but it does not change people's true nature or erase what happened. The mistakes, betrayals, and deceptions you endured were not mere fleeting incidents, but warnings. If someone has hurt you before, if a place has drained you emotionally and mentally, there is no reason to return just to see if things have changed. Some doors, once closed, are best left that way, not out of hatred or fear, but because you have learned your lesson. Growth is not just about moving forward. It is also about knowing where not to return and recognizing who is unworthy of a place in your life. Cherish what you have built. Protect the peace you have fought for. Do not let nostalgia or curiosity lead you back to what you once sacrificed so much to walk away from. Guard your peace as a priceless treasure, because not everyone deserves entry into your world. Peace does not come naturally. It is the result of conscious choices, walking away from toxicity, and keeping only what truly adds value to your life. Do not let anyone or anything make you trade your inner calm for old relationships or meaningless memories. Hold on to your self-worth, for it is the foundation that keeps you steady amid life's changes. Some will try to make you doubt yourself, to diminish what you have accomplished, but do not let them shake what you have built. Your value is not determined by their approval, but by how much you respect yourself and stay true to your beliefs. And when you decide to move forward, do so with conviction, without looking back. The past may hold beautiful moments, but it carries lessons you do not need to relearn. Do not let regret or curiosity pull you back to things that no longer align with your journey ahead. Walk forward with confidence, gratitude for what has been, and the unwavering belief that you deserve a future far greater than what you left behind.